Welcome to the Social Podcast, where no discussion or debate is off limits.
Welcome to the I just want to give a quick shout out. Not that I'm assuming you're all from Toronto, but for those who are, go Jays, go!
And you know what? We're starting off the show talking about the Blue Jays. What a weekend for the Jays. And rookie pitcher Trey Yesavage in Game 2 of the American League Division Series in front of 44,000 fans. Yesavage struck out 11 Yankees over 5 1/3 innings of no-hit ball, a postseason franchise record, leading the Jays to a 13-7 win. Okay. Now, confidence doesn't seem to be a problem for him. Here's what he had to say on Saturday.
Granted, there's going to be a lot more fans here, and there's going to be a lot more energy surrounding this place. But, I mean, I'm built for this.
All right, so, okay, you guys like that. So here's the question. Is extreme confidence in a young, inexperienced person impressive or off-putting? Impressive. I love that.
Timing is everything. Of course, it's impressive. Look what he just did. Yeah. You know, we were talking about what is the difference between confidence and cockiness. Mm-hmm. The boy has the skills to back it up. Yeah. He is 22 years old. He has had a rocket ship of a career over the last 12 months, and he's ascended through all the levels of baseball, landing here in playoffs with the Toronto Blue Jays, beating the famed Yankees. But here's the thing I'm not going to buy. I know he's 22, and they say, oh, you know, he's had so few starts in the MLB. And I'm like, this is a guy who's been doing this since practically he was born. So when he says, I'm built for this, I believe him. Because we think he's inexperienced because we don't know him. We haven't seen him really prove his muster long-term yet in the MLB. But in his mind, he's been playing this moment in his head for decades. So when you see someone who's in their element, he was clearly built for this. And he's also backing it up with the good. So here's the thing, and you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So he's already did it. He's did it for us. He's done it. So yes, not off-putting. If you can back it up, it ain't cocky.
I love it. What do you, oh, you don't like it?
No, I like it. I like this. Because I do think it's a confidence that he can back up. And I do think there's a difference between confidence and cockiness. But you've never been in a situation when, like, a younger person than us, they come in real hard, like vocally, like cocky a little bit. I'm always reminded of, like, myself at that age, or even younger. I remember in grade 7, just telling classmates for no reason at all, like, I'm gonna be a millionaire and I'm also gonna have a limo. Like, what?
What's wrong with that,
It's such a dumb thing to say. So when I see young people being, like, vocally cocky like that, I'm just like, oh, that's so cute. And it's kind of like an annoyance, like a cute, they're adorable, but I'm also like, oh.
Yeah, it's like they don't know what they don't know in some cases. I know, how do you tease out that line? And it made me think of some instances. I was raised with this idea of femaleness and femininity, that you are humble at all costs. And I don't know. No bragging. Like, that was considered to be the worst thing you could possibly do as a girl. Conceited, right? That was the word you got. So you had to be humble. And that is so firmly ingrained in me that I have a hard time even to this day of owning kind of things when I do well. It feels bragging and whatever. And it's something I've had to learn over time. There's this one instance that happened to me. I was part of the cheerleading team in high school.
No, you
weren't. I was. We didn't have a football team.
That's news to all of us.
To be clear, we didn't have a football team. It was more of a dance team than anything else. Seriously, it was.
We're trying to envision it.
Yeah, I know. It was dancing.
Bop.
It was dancing. But there was this one time where after we'd done, I guess, a performance, I had said something back, you know, in the locker room, something to the effect of, like, well, everyone loves a cheerleader. And my coach came by and she was like, that sounded really arrogant. And it was like almost like I was dipping my toe in being confident, and I got like a virtual backhand. And so it filled me with so much shame that it's been hard for me. I feel like just now, at this stage of life, I'm starting to dip my decades later. And I think that it's that kind of fine thing. I think women more often than not resist stepping into that kind of ownership of confidence, and we probably need to do it more. I have to say, though, I still resist resist it.
You still resist it. Listen, I love it, and for all the reasons that you mentioned, Mel, as long as you can back it up, because I think that's when we have a problem. When someone's talking a big game and then they show up and it's like, oh, you couldn't do any of the things that you said you were going to do. But I will say that to your point, where you're talking about that person who made you feel like you couldn't own like being happy about something, I think that's half of our problem. I think it's a gender issue, and I also think it's a cultural issue. I think there are certain cultures, like the Brits, really don't like people bragging about themselves, hence the reason why they hate Americans so much. And also Canadians, we've adopted that, like we don't like to brag about ourselves. But I think when you're really working hard at something, 50% of your success is the hard work you'll put in, and the other 50% is what you think in your head about yourself.
Yeah.
So in order for you to win, he already knows all the skill. He's been taught that, but he also has to believe it in himself that he can step out on that mound in front of all of those people like he did this weekend and really do it. And he needs to speak those things out loud. And I feel like when you're younger, especially, I know I ran into too many of these dream killers. There's always somebody, there's always someone to tell you, you know, you should calm down. You don't know what the future, and it's like, let's stop doing that. When you're young and happy and without all the extra stuff that life's gonna put on you,
Chase.
You can
let them have that moment to dream. Because look at how it turned out. Thank goodness he has that.
Hey, what about we stick with confidence for a little bit? Because I bet Travis Kelce's feeling on top of the world lately. Everyone is talking about Taylor Swift's new song. It's called Wood. And it's not so subtle references to her fiance's anatomy. So would you rather know details about his prowess, or is this too much? Like, is it like a wood panel dining room and you're just like, no, this is impressive? Or is it like light and airy and it's just enough information?
I say wood one more time for me. Wood. I like the way you're really going with that W.
Listen, I've heard about this morning. I haven't listened to the album. I didn't do a deep dive on it yet. And maybe ever. But I did think to myself, like, is it a bit cheesy? Is it a bit weird? Then I read the lyrics and I thought they were kind of clever.
Yeah.
I don't think it's too much TMI. You think about, she comes from a long line of like female singers who sang songs about, like, Rihanna did S&M, Madonna, of course, Like a Virgin. I think about Christina Aguilera and Dirty. Like, I could go on and on and on. So she's dipping her toe into this kind of different realm.
She is. Listen, not only have I listened to the album, I'm pretty sure I know all the lyrics to all the songs already.
Way.
Wow.
That's what happens when you have a Swiftie for a daughter. And we went to the movie on the weekend because it was the big release of The Life of a Showgirl, and she goes into the deep dive. And when they asked her, what is the song Wood about? And she goes, obviously it's about superstitions and like knocking on wood.
That's what your daughter said.
No, that's what Taylor said in the movie. Now, there is an explicit version of the album and there is a clean version of the album. Parents, the reason why I need you to know this, it is TMI for your children, depending on what their age is. My daughter, she's exposed to a lot of things, but her friends, maybe not, and I respect that. So when all her friends were saying, Melissa, what's this song about? I was like, ask your mother. It's TMI for the kids, but they did play the clean version in the movie theater this weekend. So if you want to go see it with your kids, it's fine. Otherwise, it is TMI for the kids. Not TMI for me. TMI for the kids.
Would kids be able to make those connections? I'm thinking about like Chuck Berry's song, My Ding-a-Ling. Like, I was today years old when I learned that it's not just My Ding-a-Ling, like a little toy.
It's
or
true.
Peter Gabriel's Sledgehammers. Like, that's about working out.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Oh, it's
so
not.
what I'm saying is, if your kids aren't gifted, they might be okay.
I feel like they just go down the rabbit hole and find out
I think
about
we
it.
all grew up listening to, like, think about the songs that you sang in the back of your parents' car. I want to sex you up. Like, we sang those songs in the presence of our parents. I don't think the lyrics are that rough. I think if this were any other artist, like you mentioned Rihanna and Madonna, artists that we are already comfortable with them being very sexually explicit, it'd be different, but it's because it's Taylor, and Taylor's that all-American girl with her knee-high socks and her cute little kitten, and we're just not accustomed to hearing her speak that way. I think that's what it is. And the other part I will say about this, listen, I know she always goes to her own personal life to talk about, you know, to write something and write songs, but I'll say take a page out of J-Lo's book and be very mindful about what you put down on wax, because sometimes things don't age well. I wish them all the best in their marital life, but they haven't even started yet. They're not even married yet. You don't know what's around the corner, and if you guys break up, this Wood song, girl, is gonna haunt you. Like, remember, like J-Lo with that, what's that stupid series that she did, the best love story never told? How did that go? You don't wanna be that artist. So I would tell her, be mindful of all this Wood chit chat.
So Prime Minister Mark Carney is in Washington ahead of the next round of trade talks with the U.S. President Donald Trump. And Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre says it's time to negotiate a win for Canada. In a letter shared on X, he wrote, quote, "You promised elbows up, but then caved on dollar-for-dollar counter tariffs, the digital services tax, and more while we're winning nothing in return for Canada." So do we feel like it's been some time? Are Canada's elbows still up?
Right?
I like that.
All right, you know what's very interesting? I'd say the majority of the crowd says yes, and a couple people are still like they're iffy on it. I think we're not as angry as we were when Trump was talking all that annexation. I say that because we're not naturally an angry people. We'll leave that to our cousins down south. But I'd say it definitely is, and anybody questions it, ask the U.S. Tourism Board if the elbows are still up. We're not going, and they are hemorrhaging. Las Vegas is begging people to come because we were a huge part of their tourism. So I'd say it's definitely that way. I think a lot of stores still have their Canadian, Canadian made. I think a lot of us when we shop are still making sure that we go for Canadian. But I would ask Pierre Poilievre, listen, do you think it's fair to ask somebody 6 months into a job like being the prime minister, where are all of these things? You know these things take time. And also he's dealing with a president in the United States who is constantly on a daily basis changing his mind, changing his policies, doing different things. And everybody, every world leader is just trying to figure out what to do next because every day is something new coming from that president.
Trying to dance.
Right? He's always changing. So for you to question, what are you doing? What have you done for me lately kind of vibes? I'm like, listen, it's been 6 months, so calm down. And it's exactly what he did when Trudeau was in office. And I think, although I agree that we're in a democratic society and we need to have opposition, you need to call people out on things. Pierre Poilievre, the way that he does it, I question it sometimes just because he started a lot of rhetoric when Trudeau was in office, and I don't want that kind of nonsense coming back into our politics.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah. I mean, not to be petty, but you lost, Pierre.
That part.
Anyway,
that part.
I don't know how many people want to hear from him, but moving on. I also think the reason why we're a little more lukewarm, my elbows are still up, but I'm not they were getting sore for a little while. And so what I think has happened is because we are no longer the actual target, he's not saying 51st state all the time, we have a chance to breathe. It makes us probably feel relieved. But what we're learning, at least what I'm learning with how Prime Minister Carney is moving around the world now is we also have a lot of other friends. Yeah. So while I'm still supporting Canadian in key ways, just like you said with travel, we are looking at other allies, and I'm making sure that if I'm following my dollar, I'm also supporting our allies. So I'm supporting us and the people who are actually our friends. Now, if all of a sudden President Trump starts saying 51st, 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 I think we're all going to start acting the way we were. We're going to have those elbows back up. But mine are still sharp, maybe a little less sharp. But I think it's because we realize who are our friends and who is not our friend. And I think that's been a relief for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I can understand, though, why some critics of Carney are wondering if his elbows are still up. Like, he ran with that slogan. And now it kind of feels like, to his critics, I think that he's almost doing like a chicken dance. Like, his elbows are up when he promises those retaliatory tariffs, and then they're down when he takes them all away. And, you know, it's been an interesting and very difficult time. Just in August, I think 66,000 Canadians lost their job. Not all to do with the tariffs, but certainly that's a big part of it. Our unemployment rate rose 7.1% in August. That's the second highest amount in the G7 countries. And our economy shrunk by 1.6%. So I can understand some people being like, hey, you promised this. And I can also understand that, you know, he did promise it, and then maybe when he actually met with Trump, things got a little more complicated. You know what I mean? Because he had his idea of what he was dealing with, but that's different. You know, other countries got trade deals. Think about European Union and Japan. They've already worked that out. So Canadians must be like, come on, let's go. Come up.
I don't know. I mean, I don't have anything to add to this that is profound, but I think it's complicated, as you pointed out, to be a leader. I think we are only 6 months in. And I think there is an end game here. And I think we're going to see. Let's reserve judgment at least until after this meetings, until we can see what the plan is, if there is a plan. I mean, myself, just to take it home, like, My elbows are like kind of maybe one up, one down. Like I'm a little confused right now. I feel like people aren't as kind to each other. Right after this whole elbows up thing, it felt like everyone was being a little nicer on the road. I feel like people are angry again, and maybe that's to do with the state of the economy.
Yeah.
And I came out like I will not go to the States. I will not book trips there. But I'm at a grocery store, and I don't know, but like you, sometimes I'm just like, what's cheaper? And I'm less inclined to choose, and I'm ashamed to admit that. But I think a lot of Canadians are feeling that way as well. So we're going to see how these meetings go and then see where our elbows are from there.
It's a hard condition to maintain, right?
Yeah. And if you're looking for friendly Canadians, just go to a Blue Jays game. They're very friendly there.
Oh, yeah.
The best fans. The best. All right, so let's move on to a whole lot of steamed coffee drinkers. For the first time in 3 years, Tim Hortons is raising the price of a cup of Joe to an average of 3 cents more per cup, reflecting the rising price of coffee beans. And according to the Wall Street Journal, despite increasing prices, people are unwilling to quit the coffee. So what is it about coffee that makes it so hard to quit? Because I don't understand this. I could take it or leave it.
I'll explain it. Number one, the addiction to caffeine.
Okay.
Number two, the routine. Number three, it makes me feel alive inside in the morning. Yeah, coffee for me it's like a staple. It's like toilet paper. Like I will. Yeah. Oh, for real.
No. But is there it is. Okay, but wait. Is there so prices of coffee has gone up, I think 3 cents per cup or something like this?
19% in 2025.
So that's because of tariffs, that's because of like the cost of beans and all this stuff. Is there a point at which, like I thought about it this morning, if a coffee to go and buy it was $10 a cup, I think I would have to.
Just to be clear, I make my coffee at home.
I know.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
But the beans even still have gone up.
For sure
price.
they've
There would be
gone
a
up.
tipping point where I would be like, I'm doing tea.
Yeah, I'm gonna give up. No. I think as a lot of people, maybe not you, Sin, I think a lot of people would be willing to give up many other things just to hold on to their cup of coffee. And it's not, of course it's addictive, but it's also the ritual. But also when you take a look at the top consumers of coffee around the world, Canada is the only non-European country to crack the top 10. And you know who we share that with? Norway, Sweden, Finland, Denmark, the Netherlands. You know what we all share?
We're
Long,
gifted.
cold
Winters.
winters. So there is something that is physically and mentally comforting about doing this, and the smell, and we know the senses.
Yes.
That smell and taste. Do I even have to tell you?
Okay.
There it is.
Come on.
Okay, we're back, everybody. So here is the dilemma. Someone wrote to Dear Abby saying that their longtime friend regularly gets into relationships with men who are already taken. Now, it's bothering her to the point she's considering ending their friendship. But is that a reason to end a friendship?
Audience, you guys are more sure about the coffee thing. Okay, here.
I bet this lady doesn't drink coffee.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
She's something else. I'd say it's a reason to end the friendship, and here's why. Show me your friends, and I'll show you who you are. If you're gonna hang out with somebody who has no problem doing this, it does say something about you. And it's also this naivete that's like, okay, so you're hanging out with somebody who regularly, and this is not like she made a mistake and she did something stupid once. She's regularly dating married men. That is like having a friend as a thief and thinking they're never gonna steal from you. That you think that you're so special. And instead of, I would ask her the question, what is it about this friendship? What does this person bring to your life that is so special that you're able to ignore this thing that makes you uncomfortable to the point where you're even questioning if you can leave your husband? How funny?
Well, they do
Is she Eddie Murphy funny?
Yeah.
Like, how funny is she? I think you have to ask yourself that question. And is it a friend, if you're nervous to leave your friend around your spouse, is that someone you want in your life?
She said she's not worried about her husband.
But
she said that. I mean,
sorry. I was like,
she said that.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that did strike me in this particular one is she doesn't trust her friend. Not so much about, she trusts her husband with him. She doesn't trust her friend.
Yeah.
And that to me is a red flag. But for me, just to separate it from this exact story, like I don't know. My friends can do, my closest, nearest, dearest ride or die, they can do stuff that isn't necessarily morally correct, and I will still stand by them. I've had it happen in my life where people have made questions.
Give us an example.
I'm not going to give an example. You can imagine in relationships things come up, and I see them as full, whole beings. And sometimes we make mistakes and we go down paths in life. Maybe you're making bad choices with substances. You're making bad choices with relationships. And all I can do for my nearest and dearest is stand by them and hope that I can guide them in the right direction back home to themselves.
I'm not guiding.
I was just going to ask if you ever take the time to sort of like, if it's repeated bad behavior, do you take the time to sort of inquire, like,
and
get to the why?
That man's bedroom?
Yeah.
No, I would definitely sit down. Again, I'm talking about, like, there's a, we've talked about this before on the show. There are tiers to friendships. There are the people you know, and then there's the next tier that's a little bit closer, and then there's the people who are, like, basically like family. And for me, I have I cut a wide swath. I can stand a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
As long as there's communication, then there's
Top-tier
open.
people.
And I understand. We all make mistakes in life. None of us are above bad behavior.
Yeah.
And it's about trying to figure out what is the balance of that.
So the birds of a feather analogy doesn't, like birds of a feather flock together, that doesn't impact your
That sounds like a line from a song, a Billie Eilish song, I believe.
Yeah.
In fact.
Here's the only reason why I would say, for me, it's not necessarily just like birds of a feather. It is how much complicity are you asking of me as your friend?
That
If you
part
are in
too.
one small town and this woman is constantly dating men who are married, and people around town, this starts to get out. If that other woman, the wife of the person, all of a sudden it circles back, you are actually asking me to be complicit in your bad behavior. Now that's not fair. And to that I would say, I might not judge your choices, I will judge the position you put me in as a best friend. And that's where I would say you're crossing the line. So it is birds of a feather, but it's also reputation, is that if that's your reputation, I don't want people to start to think that's what I'm about too. So it's birds of a feather, sort of, but it's also, what lines are you asking me to cross as a friend? That's where I would draw it.
We're not crossing any lines around here, folks. All right. So to etiquette now, someone wrote to Miss Manners to ask who was responsible for calling back if you're in the middle of a conversation and the call drops. We've all had that happen. They say it should be the person who initiated the call. So, yeah? Y'all even think about that? Okay, so what do you guys think? Who was responsible for calling back on a dropped call?
Oh, I think it's very, very obvious. You both call each other back at the exact same time, 4 to 5 times.
Yep.
Get the busy signal,
Straight to the
and then
voicemail.
just text.
Yep. That's the way we do it.
Yeah.
Is it? Well, I always think, like, yes, whoever initiates a call, but it's also, if my phone is the one that drops out and I realize it, I call back.
How do you know whose fault? That's the confusing thing. I always think it's my fault because I live in Toronto and I have guilt complexes clearly. I'm always going to take the humble route. It's me. It must be me.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I do the exact same thing as you. It's like you both call back and then you're in this endless loop and then you just are like.
And there's no such thing as busy signals anymore, Jess Allen. I know you said that, but I haven't heard one in about 20 years.
Okay, not a busy signal, but you get it like a.
You go straight to voicemail. If it was
Straight to
voicemail.
That's it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
We've solved nothing is the answer there. So y'all figure it out for yourself.
Subscribe to the Social Podcast so you don't miss a fiery debate. Until next time, socialites.